Of the thousands of cryptocurrencies available to use today, in this video we're going to look at which crypto blockchain is preferred by terrorist organizations. The answer just might surprise you. Today's episode is sponsored by Cake Wallet, where you can send, receive and even exchange your crypto right from within the wallet. Cake Wallet is open source and non-custodial, so you control your own private keys, available today on iOS, macOS, Android and Linux. And StealthEX, a privacy-centric crypto exchange which enables you to make crypto-to-crypto exchanges anonymously. Good evening everybody, and a warm welcome as always back to Enter Crypto with me, your host Chris Kenyon. Now in this video we're going to be talking about terrorism, crypto, how they fit in together, and basically the title or the question of this video is which crypto blockchain is preferred by terrorist organizations. Now I found an article by Euronews.business, and so we'll just quickly read through this article and then we'll comment after. So a fast-growing crypto network called Tron has become the major platform for crypto transfers, backing groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah. Quicker and cheaper than its larger rival Bitcoin, Tron has overtaken its rival as a platform for crypto transfers associated with groups designated as terror organizations by the EU, Israel, the US and other countries, according to a Reuters analysis. The media outlet found out that crypto seizures announced by Israeli security services since 2021 reflect a sharp rise in the targeting of Tron wallets and a fall in Bitcoin wallet seizures. Earlier it was Bitcoin, and now our data shows that these terrorist organizations tend to increasingly favor Tron. Mriganka Patnaik, the CEO of New York-based blockchain analysis firm Merkle Science, told Reuters, citing Tron's faster transaction times, low fees and stability. Israel's National Bureau for Counter-Terror Financing, which is responsible for such seizures, froze 143 Tron wallets between July 2021 and October 2023 that it believed were connected to a designated terrorist organization or used for a severe terror crime, the Reuters analysis found. And basically the article goes on to talk about the seizures of these terrorist groups' crypto accounts. And basically, as the article said, Tron is extremely cheap to use, and it's quick. Unfortunately, it's very centralized, and it reminds me of Binance Chain, BNB. That's a very similar deal such as Tron. And these networks were basically born out of Ethereum being unable to scale efficiently, and because fees became too expensive on Ethereum, Binance and Tron started up and started making fees cheap. But they were basically just clones of Ethereum. Now the only way to get around this was to scale vertically as opposed to horizontally. And if you imagine lots of nodes all over the place, all over the world, this is kind of horizontal scaling. And this is fantastic for security, obviously, because Bitcoin's a good example of this. You've got thousands and thousands of nodes all over the world, all doing their thing to keep the network going. But as you can imagine, it's very expensive to do this, although it is the most secure. When Binance and Tron came along, they basically didn't care too much about decentralization. They just wanted to make it easier and quicker for users to be able to interact with smart contracts, exchange NFTs and create your own NFTs. And so they chose to scale vertically. And that's just basically fewer nodes checking on the network, but they have a massive throughput vertically. And what this does is it makes it extremely cheap and extremely fast, but at the cost of decentralization. So the network can go down at any moment, and Solana is a good example of this. Solana is the same as Binance and Tron, and Solana has actually failed, I don't know how many times, 2 or 3 times a year. I think it's been the last 2 or 3 years. The blockchain has actually stopped and halted. Well, suffice to say, you can't have that happen. It could never stop. Imagine if Bitcoin just stopped making blocks. It just can't happen. That cannot happen. And so because of Tron's cheapness to use, shall we say, terrorists are favouring it, just like a lot of people are favouring it. There's nothing specific about terrorists. they are choosing Tron. A lot of people are choosing Tron because it's cheaper, and terrorists just happen to be some of those people as well. There are loads of terrorists using Binance, as in the Binance chain. And it's just the same as saying, for example, do terrorists drink coffee? Well, yeah, they do, because everybody drinks coffee, and so just because you see a terrorist drinking coffee, you're not going to start banning coffee now and give coffee a bad name. So it's all a bit silly. Now, an interesting thought that always comes up whenever I think about things like this, and it's usually less so terrorism, but more sort of criminality, which it obviously spills over into terrorism, is that if terrorists or criminals in general use Monero, we wouldn't even know that they were using it. So we wouldn't know if they were buying it, we wouldn't know if they were selling it, we wouldn't know when they were coming in and moving into it, moving out of it, when they were transacting between one Monero address to another Monero address. So my suspicion is that in truth, they actually would favour Monero if you were going to pin them down and say which network do terrorists use. It would be the same as criminals, and I think you would see, if we could measure it, an uptick in Monero's use, because it's private by default. It's anonymous by default. And you don't need to be a genius to work out that a criminal or a terrorist or anybody that wants to get anything done financially in secret or in private, they would just use Monero. It's the go-to privacy blockchain. And I know I sound like a Monero shill here, but it really is almost perfect money. I can't say perfect because nothing's ever perfect, and there's a couple of things that I would change in Monero if it were possible, and these are known problems that are being worked on now by the Monero Research Lab and various other developers. But it's just, in my opinion, the closest to perfect money that we've got. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on that notifications bell so that you don't miss out on any future updates. And I'll see you all tomorrow evening. Take care.